a brand new day. Stretch out, touch your toes, blink your eyes and blow your nose and say thank you. It's a brand new day.
Hello, welcome to our Easter activity morning. It's really great to have you with us today. If you're joining us for the first time, then you're very welcome as well. We hope it won't be long before we can meet at our chapel together again for our activity mornings and all our other clubs. But we're so glad that you're still joining in online with us. And our first song is one that you'll know because we sing it at Crossroads, at Sunday school and at our toddler groups. After the song, Yvonne is going to tell us a story.
My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. He calls you to live for him every day, in all that you say and you do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do.
I love Easter time. It's a time of year when we see new life all around us. The birds have built their nests, the babies are starting to hatch. We might see baby ducklings following their mothers around. I love seeing the first flowers come out, those spring flowers, the crocuses and the daffodils. Today I'm going to show you a lovely flower. Do you like my flower? What do you think of it?
It's dead!
Oh right, how do I make it alive?
You can't!
Oh, that's really sad, isn't it? When something's dead, you can't make it come alive. But there is someone who can make flowers come alive. Did you know that? The Bible tells us that about 6,000 years ago, somebody spoke and the earth was filled with plants and flowers. Do you know who that was?
Jesus!
Yes, it was God the Son, who we call Jesus. He made everything out of nothing and he made it all to live. In fact, it wasn't until the first people decided to ignore God and go their own way that anything started to die. Jesus made everything. The Bible says,
All things were made through him, in him was life.
So can Jesus make my flower come alive again? Well, yes, he could if he wanted to. But actually, he has something much better planned for us than just bringing flowers back to life. Do you want to hear a story?
Yes!
I'm going to tell you a story about a man who died. His name was Lazarus. Can you say that?
Lazarus!
Lazarus had two sisters, Mary and Martha, who loved him very much. So when he got sick and died, they were very upset. But they knew Jesus. They had hoped Jesus would heal him before he died. But Jesus didn't come. In fact, Jesus avoided going to see them until Lazarus had died, his body had been wrapped up, and it had been put into a cave covered by a rock. Lots of people had come to be with the sisters, to mourn with them, to show their love for them and help them. But Jesus wasn't there. How do you think Mary and Martha felt? They knew Jesus could heal people. They knew Jesus was their friend. But Jesus hadn't come. Eventually they got a message Jesus was coming. He was on his way. Martha rushed out to meet Jesus. What did she say to Jesus? Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. How did she feel? Angry? Upset? Then she said something amazing. She said, I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. She knew Jesus was sent by God and God heard what Jesus prayed for. She trusted him. Jesus told her something amazing. Your brother will rise again. He said Lazarus is going to come alive again. Martha didn't understand. I know he will rise again in God's kingdom, she said. But Jesus stopped her. He had something very important for her to understand. He was going to tell her the most amazing thing about himself. He said, I am the resurrection and the life. Jesus wanted Martha to understand. She didn't need to wait for heaven to see Lazarus again because Jesus himself was the one who gives life. Jesus himself is God. Do you believe this? He asked her. Yes, I believe, she answered. You are the Son of God. Martha had grasped it, hadn't she? Jesus is God. Jesus is the one who gives life. He is the one who made all life in the first place. Each of us is made by him. Without him, none of us would be alive. Martha went to call Mary. Together, the three of them went to Lazarus' tomb. As Jesus approached the tomb, he started to cry too. Why was he crying? He knew he was going to bring Lazarus back from the dead. But we have to remember who Jesus was. Jesus, who made a perfect world with no sin and no death, was now visiting the tomb of one of his friends. This man had trusted in Jesus, but he'd still died. Jesus was so upset. Sin had ruined everything in the world. Here he was with two women whose lives were devastated and a friend dead, all because of the effects of sin in the beautiful, perfect world he had made, and this made Jesus cry. But Jesus was not going to leave things like that. He had the people remove the stone from the grave. Then he shouted to Lazarus. Some of the people must have thought he was mad calling to a dead person to get up. But the most amazing thing happened. Out of the cave walked Lazarus. He was still wrapped in the burial cloths, but he was alive. The only person who could give life had given him life again. What an amazing thing that was. Lazarus was dead. He could do nothing to help himself. But Jesus gave him life. But I want you to think about something even more amazing. I said that Lazarus could do nothing because he was dead. But not long after, Jesus was also dead. Jesus was put to death by people who wanted to stop him from preaching and teaching and doing amazing things. They made up lies about him and had the Romans kill him by crucifying him on a cross. The soldiers made sure Jesus was dead before they let a friend take him down and put him in another cave tomb. Jesus' body was wrapped up and closed in with another stone. Jesus was dead. But 3 days later, something amazing happened. People came to visit the tomb expecting Jesus to be dead, but he was not inside the tomb. He was alive. Nobody had stood outside that tomb and called him to come back to life. He had done it all himself. Jesus really did make the whole world from nothing. He really did give us all life. He really did bring Lazarus back to life after he died, and he really did die on that cross. And then he really did raise himself from the dead on that first Easter Sunday. He met his friends and he ate with them. He taught them, and then they watched him go back to heaven. What does all this tell me? It tells me Jesus really is God. He really has the power to give life, and one day, after I die, he will give me life forever in his new perfect creation in heaven. In heaven, nothing will ever die again, not flowers, not animals, not people. This is something he promises to everyone who trusts in him to be their saviour and their God. Did you know this is why we have Easter eggs? When an egg hatches, new life comes out. And this reminds us of the new life we can have through the death and resurrection of Jesus, the Son of God.
Jesus, he's fully God and fully man. That's really hard to understand. So let me try to explain. Shoot, shoot, ba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shoot, 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 ba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shoot, 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 ba-doo-ba-doo-ba, shoot, 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 ba-doo-ba-doo-ba. Jesus, his word upholds the galaxies, but he babbled like a baby in his mother's arms. Jesus Jesus understands the universe, but he had to go to school to learn how to write his name. Jesus walked upon the ocean blue, but his feet got tired and dirty too on the dusty roads. Jesus cried when his friend Lazarus died, but his power brought him back to life when he called his name. He's totally God, and totally man, both in one. He's the great I am, to save the world, fulfill God's plan. He had to be totally God, totally man. Jesus obeyed his Father perfectly, and we know that's something you and me could never do. Jesus died to pay for all our sins, rose to save the ones who trust in him for eternity. He's totally God, and totally man, both in one. He's the great I am, to save the world, fulfill God's plan. He had to be totally God, totally man. Totally God, totally man, both in one. He's the great I am, to save the world, fulfill God's plan. He had to be totally God, totally man, totally God, totally man.
Now it's time for our crafts. Today we have 3 crafts for you to do, and they're all reminding us of the new life Jesus gives. First of all, we're going to make a grass head. Once you've made it, if you water it, you should see its grass hair grow. You'll see life coming from those tiny seeds. And Jenny is going to show us how to make a grass head.
Hi everyone, today we're making a grass head. You will need yogurt pot, cotton wool, glue, tights, grass seeds, scissors, pencils, googly eyes, elastic band and paper. First, take your yogurt pot and your tights. Put the toe in and stretch it over the yogurt pot. Take your grass seeds, pour them in, all of them. Take your cotton wool and stuff the tights with cotton wool. Stretch the tights over the top of it. Take it out the yogurt pot, and then you want to shape it so it should look a bit like that. Once you've tied it in the end, you can then cut off the rest of the tights. Don't need that bit. Then you want to make the nose. Get the nose. Take your elastic band and tie his nose on. Then get the googly eyes, stick 1, 2 eyes on. Then put your seed head to the side and get to your yogurt pot and your piece of paper. Cut your piece of paper to go around your pot. Now you can decorate that however you like. Then take your glue, turn your piece of paper over and glue it. Stick it to the pot. All the way around. So there's your pot. You might want to decorate your pot a little bit more and put a tie on my one. Take your grass head and put him in the pot. And he's all finished. Now you need to water his head a little bit every day and then his hair should grow. Have fun. Bye.
Next, we have a special Easter craft, which Joan is going to demonstrate. Now, please do make sure you have a grown-up with you to help on this one.
Well, hello everyone, it's me again, and today we're going to do some cooking. We're going to make some Easter nests, so that will be good. And I hope you enjoyed today's story and will enjoy our crafts as well. So I want you to start by washing your hands, please, and then we're ready to cook. So I've got in your pack, you'll find some chocolate squares, your shredded wheat, your cake cases, and your mini eggs. Now what I want you to do, and I've already done mine, is to start by melting your chocolate in the microwave. Now I put mine in for 1.5 minutes, checked it and stirred it and gave it another 20 seconds after that. We've got to be very careful because if you over melt your chocolate, I'm afraid you'll spoil your result and be disappointed. I've taken it out and it did have a little tiny lump of chocolate in, but the warmth in the bowl has finished it off for me. Now, if you don't have a microwave, I've got another little trick to show you. What I've done is put about 1.5 centimetres of hot water from the kettle in a saucepan, and I've stood the bowl in the saucepan and left it, and the heat will melt it. But whatever you do, don't get any water in your chocolate, or I'm afraid the chocolate will go hard and it will spoil it. So that's all prepared. Now I want you to move on to your shredded wheat. You've got a packet here, and it's a good idea to start by crushing it in the packet into a little bowl, like that. And then, when it's all gone, I want you to just then use your finger and thumb to break it down so it's really nice and fine, like bits of straw that the birds would use to build their nests. And then very, very quickly, once that's done and you're happy with that, all you need to do then is to pour your shredded wheat into your melted chocolate and give it a good stir to mix it all. Really stir so that all the bits are covered in chocolate. And then, if you can divide it as evenly into 3 as you can, I'm going to use a second spoon just to move it off my feeder spoon, and I'm going to share it out into the 3 cake cases like that. And I'm going to look and to see how even they are, and if I've been a bit mean with one, I'm going to share out a bit more chocolate. So scrape out your bowl, and once you've used all your chocolate, then use the back of your spoon to shape your chocolate mix so it looks like the birds have been busy building their nest and there's room to put your chocolate eggs inside. So once that's done, I'll leave that on there, and I'm just ready then to we'll put 2 eggs inside each of the nests, and that should be ready. Now I would suggest you put them in the fridge for a little while, just allow your chocolate time to set, but do enjoy.
Now Steffi is going to show us our final craft, and this is something that you can hang up as an Easter decoration, and it'll remind you that Easter is all about Jesus. It's about when he died for us and then rose again from the dead for us.
Hello, I'm Stephanie and I'm here to show you how to make an Easter wreath that will look something like this. Now, you will have been sent a pack of craft materials like this, and as well as this pack, you'll need to find some scissors, some glue, a pencil, a black pen if possible, and a colour of your choice. I've chosen green. Okay, now inside the pack, when you take everything out, you'll find lots of coloured paper, a piece of string, a piece of paper saying Jesus is alive, some white card templates, and a wreath which is made out of white card with a hole punched in the top. Now the first thing you'll need to do is take your piece of paper that says Jesus is alive and glue it onto your wreath just below the hole that is punched out. So it'll look like this. And then take your piece of string, thread it through the hole. You might need somebody to help you. And then tie the string together so that you create a hanging loop. Okay, so your structure is done. Now you need to decide what is going to go on your wreath. Now I showed you this wreath which has daffodils and tulips, and you've got everything in your pack to do one exactly like that. However, you might decide that you'd like to do just daffodils, or you might decide you'd like to do just tulips, and you might decide that you want 3 chicks or not 2 chicks. I think you've got enough for 3, and you might even have enough to put 4 chicks on there. Once you've decided the pattern you're going to do, you need to get the coloured paper and the templates and a pencil. So for my wreath, I wanted 2 daffodil shapes. So I put the cardboard onto the paper and I drew around it in pencil, and that's left me with 2 daffodil shapes on the big sheet of yellow paper. I then wanted 2 insides of the daffodils. So I got the inside of the daffodil, put it onto the orange paper, and again, I drew around with a pencil to get the inside shapes. On the red, I wanted 3 tulip shapes. So I got the tulip stencil and I drew around 3 tulips. On the pale blue, I took the 2 eggshell shapes, which actually should match, and I drew around them to give me the eggshell. And on the yellow paper, I took the chick shape and I drew 2 chicks. Now that you've drawn around all your templates, you have all the shapes that you need. So what you now need to do is get your scissors and you need to cut out each one of the shapes that you have drawn. Okay? Now this is going to take some time, so be patient and keep going until you have cut out all of your shapes. Now, once you've cut out all of your shapes, you need to decide where you want to put them. Now my original wreath, I have got daffodils on one side and tulips on the other. And the first thing I did was to stick all the stems down. So I got the glue, and on one side of the wreath I put quite a bit of glue like this. Okay, can you see? It's all sticky here. And then I chose 5 of the stems and stuck them down onto the glue. And it doesn't matter if they stick off a bit of the wreath, like that. And then I took the glue and put some more glue on the other side of the wreath. It will dry clear, so it doesn't matter really where it goes. And then I stuck the other 5 stems onto the wreath. Now it's up to you where they go. If you'd like to make some of the stems shorter or thinner, you can do. But once you've stuck them on, you should have something like this. Now, the next thing you do is you take your flower shapes and decide where you would like to put those. I'm going to stick to my original plan, and I'm going to put the daffodils on one side and the tulips on the other. So I take a daffodil head and a daffodil centre, and I'm going to stick those, stick the head on, and then stick the centre. So that's one, and then I need my next one. Take another daffodil head, put some glue on the back, stick that on, stick the centre on. So I've done my daffodils, and then on the other side I'm going to stick my tulips, and I've got 3. So I'm going to put glue on the back of each of my tulips, and then I'm going to stick them onto my wreath. Like that. And once that's done, we need to look at the chicks and the eggshell. Now it's up to you where you put the eggshell. I've spaced mine out so it's either side of my chicks. So with my 2 pieces of eggshell, again, just put glue on the back and stick them where you want them to be. Again, it doesn't matter if some of it shows over the edge of the wreath. In fact, I think it looks quite good if it does poke up a little bit. When you put the eggshell on, you get the 2 chick shapes, and again, stick them on. Mine are going to be in between 2 bits of eggshell. Now, you might have realised that you had a little tiny piece of lighter red, and there was no template for that. That is because you are going to cut out 2 tiny triangles for the chick's beaks, and they can be whatever shape you like. Whatever size you like, rather. And when you've cut them out, you can stick them on. Now the last thing to do is to get a black pen, and with your black pen you can put an eye on your chicks and some wing patterns, and you can draw some little legs and little feet like this. Now if you want, you can also get a different colour pen, and you can put some spots on the eggshells to make them look a bit patterned. You could put some little stones on the ground. It's up to you how else you want to decorate your wreath. And the last thing you'll need to do is choose the colour. And remember, I chose green, and colour in Jesus is alive at the top of your wreath. I hope you have fun making your wreath, and look forward to seeing the photographs of what pattern you decided to do.
When you open your pack, you're going to find everything that you need for those 3 crafts. You'll also find the book that we want to give to you as a gift. It's all about the death and resurrection of Jesus. I hope you enjoy reading it, and I hope it helps you to understand what happened when Jesus died and why he did it. Well, thank you again for joining with us this morning. Have lots of fun with your crafts. Don't eat all your chocolates at once, and please do remember to send Yvonne the pictures of the crafts that you make. See you later. Bye-bye.
Get up out of bed, have a yawn and scratch your head and say thank you. It's a brand new day. Stretch out, touch your toes, blink your eyes and blow your nose and say thank you. It's a brand new day.